Okay, so my guess as to what the problem is a fouled spark plug. So it's pretty common on lawnmowers. I'm sure there's a really good reason why. I don't have the inclination to look up why they foul. So a fouled spark plug, if I'll show you a picture later with a new spark plug, but if you look at a new spark plug and compare it to a fouled spark plug, you'll see the differences. First of all, there's not any carbon black junk on top of it or at the end of it where it makes where it goes into the engine and where the combustion happens. And there's a little gap there where the arc of the spark is created, and that gap will be noticeably wider, or even sometimes you can see where the spark has eroded away the material on the spark plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the spark plug out and inspect it. Needs to be replaced anyway, so I'll have to go to Walmart and get a spark plug. I'll have to gap the spark plug, and I'll show you what a gapper is, and just put it in there. And it's one of those easy things to change out to see if that was the issue. Doesn't cost much, and we'll tell you immediately if that was the problem. Okay, so they actually make a special spark plug socket. It's 5/8. You probably can't see it, but the only thing that's different about it, there's a rubber gasket at the bottom. And because the spark plug because the spark plug actually has a charge to it, I guess the rubber is supposed to be safer, more likely, actually, when I think about it. Oh, that is still warm. Okay, let me get something to take that off without using my hands. More than likely, it's for the rubber gaskets so it doesn't damage the spark plug, because you can damage it pretty easily. Now, the reason I know this is a spark plug, there's a wire coming from the engine, or actually the wire is coming from the top up here, the coil. So when you pull the crank with the drawstring, it works as a generator, and so it starts the spark plug sparking, and the spark plug, the other end of the spark plug, is connected to the engine. So, and it's really difficult to get off. I'm gonna turn you off, and then I'll turn it back on when I get it off. Okay, I finally got the cap off. So this is what I just took off. Now there's sometimes that wire, spark plug wire, will go bad on you, and it can cause the same kind of symptoms. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the spark plug out. Taking it out is no problem. But if you're ever putting your spark plug back in, and I'll show you that later, but you wanna make sure that you do not cross thread. What that means is when you screw it in there, you want to hand tighten it, and you can want to feel, make sure it's going in correctly. Because if you cross thread a spark plug where it goes, you're dealing with a big problem. You'll have to have the engine, well, you would have to buy a new lawnmower basically, because it wouldn't be worth your time to fix it. You have to have it retapped. That's a whole different subject. Just lesson is, never mess around with spark plugs when you're putting them back in. Make sure that they go in straight and correctly. And I would be using my hands by then now, but it's still, like I said, it's still pretty warm. I'm gonna grab it by the ceramic part. Ooh, even that's hot, yikes. Man, this is a hot engine. Almost there. Oh, and also that little rubber gasket will, usually when you get to the end here, it'll kind of grab a hold of that spark plug, but this one might be so old it won't do it. Man, it takes long. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking at. So you see the gap there at the end. You have the threads, and then you have that little L-shaped thing above a little notch. So that's where the spark is created. And I'm just eyeballing it, but what I'm looking at is I see a lot of carbon. The carbon would be the black stuff, and the gap between those two, where that spark goes, that's, to me, just eyeballing it, that's larger than normal. So I think it has been fouled. So I think I'm correct. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new spark plug, go to the store, buy one. Now when you do that, there's only one little trick, other than making sure you screw the spark plug in correctly. You do need something called a gapper. It's a little tool, and I'll show it to you here in a second. Really cheap, less than $1. And you have to know what the gap for your spark plug is for whatever engine. It doesn't matter if it's a car or a mower, whatever, but they have to be gapped at the right gap or else it won't run right. Okay, so this is a gapping tool. They come in different forms. I have another one that's just basically a circle, but each one of these is numbered. It says 40, but it would be 0.40. So they're really thin. And when you have a new spark plug, all you do is that gap that's between these two, you just run that through there, and it creates the correct gap for that particular engine and spark plug.